to get over 100 Thieves. Oh, they are great games. Nail-biters, edge of your seat kind of stuff. And if you look at this match, G2 have a serious chance of missing Toronto. On the flip side, EG have a serious chance of making it. Which of those would you say was more unlikely at the beginning of this stage?
That's absurd.
I don't even know.
We're seeing that slow beginning. EG are known for. They're defining themselves. Josh RT saying in that interview, hearing from him, that EG are a dangerous team. They're finding their identity.
Find you.
Heating up at the right time.
And that's this double walk forwards that you heard from Mimi. Icy and Ye, the two players that are so good right now in the playoffs, putting pressure early on and doing damage to Jonah P, who still has full breach util apart from that stun. Using a flash to go and re-clear into B, just in case someone had taken a timing. And now it's Valen who has to back off as the door is opened.
It's got to respect a lot of the space that's being taken up here by EG. Jogamo looking to contain, maintain control as well over towards A-Rubble.
And this is really crucial because we've seen games where Superman just dominates by taking this really late A-Lurk timing. A very standard slow round from EG so far, seeing if they can work a lurk, but generally grouping over towards C-Mount.
Yeah, and now you might see the hit come through, but still that util was saved for a rainy day. G2 had it in their back pocket, trying to go for the refight as well, but in exchange of the lead, it's Valen who's going to be the first one to drop. Quick little pivot now. It's cheeky, but G2 are going to be waiting with open arms to try and absorb most of this pressure coming its way. With Nature dropped into the play, Jogamo already finding one of his own. Off to the side here, it's off to the extremities. EG going hunting for any chance to lay claim to this side plan. Finally going down here and defended in time here with a nade in the back pocket and the damage done. Icy and Derek are tearing G2 to pieces.
What a pivot from EG, late round into B. Icy springs forward and takes heaven control. The rest of the team gets stuck a little bit in the choke point. Jonah, despite his weak health, did everything he could. But Icy's kill onto Trent really opened the door. You're going to see a ton of this. EG, doesn't matter how much pressure they apply throughout the early and mid round, which generally they're going to be quite slow, it's the late round where all the action happens.
Nice, let's go. Come on, baby.
The last 30 seconds is just action, team fights, trying to get through the defense and hoping that they've bled out enough utility to make the site hit work.
And a team like EG as well, they've been lucky almost in terms of the opponents they've been playing against, finding this form. I say that because the slow style that they play, it really heavily favors them if a team is ready to opt into them. You know, they play against Cloud9, that's, you know, I think in the back of everybody's minds, alongside as well, their wins against Crew, two teams that like to try and take that pace and that action.
But when you look at G2, you're expecting to see a team that deals with this slow-paced style quite well.
Yeah.
They're a great team in terms of their composure, and they're also super happy to play a slower style too. You didn't see them use too much of their utility on the pistol. They didn't try to force a fight into EG. They forced EG to make the play into B, and EG still won.
Here's an attempt at a refight there with a fault line. That's going to be coming up with the goods. Icy's dropped at a moment's notice. EG, though, are corralled, cornered in for a tree, and surrounded now. Still with a better weaponry. Not too much to worry about for now, but you've got to try and see if you can hold on to control of this one. It's a bit of an exchange, and look at this call by EG. Flip
I like
side.
this. Yeah, decisive, fast, making sure that they take a bit of space and leave. Could be pressured or could find the timing. Looks like he's going to try to take the fight in spawn as Ye swings against two.
Okay, knocking the heads clean off the shoulders there. Leave it all down to Jonah P with the weapon that was claimed just a bit prior. But too many targets to overcome, surely, and indeed it is. Weapon's going to be reclaimed at the other side of this one. EG get through these opening rounds relatively cleanly.
Prime Ye is here for playoffs, man.
Yeah,
he is. It's unbelievable how much better Ye and Icy have been during this playoffs compared to, I mean, not just their regular Stage 1 performance, not just Kickoff, but like, when have we seen them be this good consistently? We've seen flashes from Icy when he was playing with G2, which that cosmic irony will play out all throughout this match, I'm sure. But like, Ye, it's been a long time since you've seen him in this kind of form. Couldn't find a better moment for either of them.
Looking ahead for a bonus conversion as well. I mean, EG, here we are. Going to be seeing a fight to be taken here with a Prowler forwards, but that is a good stun against that connection. Icy falls prey to it as well. Still eager to take these fights forwards and leave it hard committed off to the side here. Yeah, he steps up to the challenge. To test.
So confident.
No peeking.
Definitely not to be denied that share of blood, and there's no other response for it.
Not to be denied the ult orb either, so that gets ult online for Ye. He's going to be able to take aggressive fights and still feel pretty confident about being able to go in and get value even afterwards.
Aggro as anything here, Jonah P! A chance to shine and maybe potentially done enough, and that's not dead yet, but guess what? There are no targets waiting for you. Run all you like.
I mean, Ye at least is going to be getting a little bit of information. He's going to realize and feed info back to Superman. There's nobody around here at all. They could possibly VCT, but it's almost certain they're on the flank. He deletes Trent, and it's only Jorg left.
To divide into the 1v1, Superman. It's been a star player for them when EG have been trying to get these wins on. Lotus is a map. Up against Jorgamo, though, and that's a tough test indeed. Jorgamo rattles off a couple of the bullets, and one to the chest will do it. Superman is in a sorry state in terms of the health, and Jorgamo primed, perched up there just onto the slightest of high ground.
And he shuts down the momentum that his former team might have been able to get going early on here. But to be honest, I think you zoom out a little bit, that is a great bonus round for EG. They've done some serious damage to the economy there. Only Jorg left alive. They're on defense side G2 as well, so they don't even get plant money or anything like that to try to boost the economy. It's going to really hurt. They're going to be coming into the next round with light armor, guardians, this kind of stuff. If somebody on EG wanted, they could pull out an outlaw. Like, Icy with an outlaw right now would go crazy. Josh RT with a little golf clap, but I don't think you can feel like that was the most decisive win in the world. G2's going to have a tough one here. Like I said, no Guardians, but Bulldogs instead. And a judge.
And scraping the bottom of the barrel just to get this buy together.
Leaf's position over here towards the front of B. This is something the analyst desk was talking about. You're expecting double walk-ups over towards B in a lot of these rounds, and Leaf putting himself in this position, expecting that at some point he might get walked on. At the same time, though, EG love to default over towards Mound, and then that door could get opened from behind you, and you get put in a really tough spot.
Yeah, not much control for it here. It's EG trying to lay claim to the space over towards A. G2 have been putting a heavy premium on controlling that space. We mentioned it prior, just Superman's lurks, trying to deny that he could get value, and here comes the pivot now, up towards C Mound, and there's the danger. Leaf could be in.
Leaf's going to be hearing a lot of this. Now the question is, do they cut noise, open the door, and flush Leaf out, or is this a commitment?
Potentially. Narrowly avoiding there with a fault line, but here's the paranoia on top of it. Close quarters, nearsighted, not going to be doing too much at all. But here he is, from the side, as Jorgamo laying claim to the site. Denying them a chance to set past the threshold, and they should be aware of this one. Superman has been doing it against teams more towards the tail end of stage one. Trent, fully aware, locked right onto the head. Superman dropped. Now Derek's left to pick up the pieces in this one in a 1v4. 15 seconds left remaining into the round. Extremely unlikely indeed. An inclination as to where Trent was, but 9 seconds to do it, and they are right there behind you.
Great idea of how Superman is going to be lurking. This has caught off a lot of teams. We heard the analyst desk talk about the fact that you want to be flushing out these lurk players, but what's caught other teams like Crew, for example, off guard playing against EG is that the lurks come so late on. Like, this is 25 seconds left on the clock. Still watching for a lurk at that point in the time is tough. Not many teams play that slow. Now, I do want to give a lot of credit to Leaf there. You might not have thought that he got much action done in that round with his judge, but he heard all the rotates. And he told his team to go and stack C, and Jorg was there in time to get the double spray down and support Valen, who got stunned up. That's the kind of information you need when playing against EG. The info game is so important because EG's worst enemy is going to be the clock.
Yeah.
They're hitting sites with 25 seconds left, so if you can find the right read in the late round without getting punished for grabbing that information, you're hunky-dory.
G2 been making sure to save a lot of their util for these late hits into the round here. EG, no switch up in pace. They've taken this one very slowly indeed, just looking to see if they can get a couple of ults online for next.
Opening that door to push Jorgamo further back. Not that they knew that he was there, but it's a good protocol anyway, just to stop any of the defenders from taking front B control. The macro game being played pretty well by EG so far, but remember, it's just sheriffs.
Yeah. Spike is going to be steadily making its way over towards A here.
And
a lot of uncertainty.
It is tough to gather information over here with Superman's
30
wall.
seconds left.
That's an ult expended, okay.
That's a really large expenditure.
Anticipating that there'll be someone home at least onto the side, but G2 have completely evacuated. No one was near. Dimensional Drift even going to be used now by Jorgenmo. He wants to get that extra information for his team. There's a late backstab that potentially could be occurring. Derek up the gut through mid. There's 9 seconds left. Finally, that plant's going down. Yay, forward, off angle. Sheriff in hand, and it's a nice little peek there from Jonah P. Crouched off into it. Are they aware of this one? Here's a Rolling Thunder even being committed, and Superman stunned up, round to the side. Leaf, he deals with him. It's a swift hand necessary. Still 2 shots. All it takes for Derek finally coming alive and activating in through that backstab. But the sight is gained up now for G2, and this is applying the pressure indeed. Running with that plan as a salvos and a shot. Still, they haven't cleared out Nature. They haven't cleared out these players. Rooted into place. EG have a decent chance of this. Another time to try and push them out, but composure is maintained. Word of the day for a team like G2, and there's no real chance here for Derek. See if he can clean it up.
You're talking about composure. I was worried watching that from G2's perspective. They weren't getting onto Icy, who was holding it backside. They weren't clearing out the pit, but they know better than me. They still had the patience to be able to slowly group up and clear it out, make sure that they were double facing their opponents, and just rely on the better weaponry. I was getting confused about the time. I thought they were potentially going to end up getting into squeaky territory there, but cool, calm, collected. And G2 get into the lead here.
Yeah.
But the ults favor EG right now.
It's very important, I think, to not get flustered when the time gets low in these spots against a team like EG here, in an attempt to try and take this one up and over towards the top. There's a flash to supplement. Quick TP back though with a gate crash. Back to safety. Opening pick. You're going to be happy with that one if you're G2.
Absolutely. A lot of teams brawl with EG at the start of this round, and they just can't quite handle the early round utility that they're using. That metal can be real nasty. So getting into a clean 5v4 is going to help a ton, especially because Icy is that tip of the spear that dives in on the execs. And if you don't have that with 30 seconds left on the clock, who the hell's going to be going in making space for you?
Jorgenmo, this is a precarious spot indeed. Lying in wait here, side of the smoke. Timing onto the drone and a reposition is smart. Looking for options, looking for picks. There's danger here, crossing out into the open. He just spots out to the hand as well, and he's going to be laying claim, potentially over towards the side here. Yay! Sidestepping and bullets raining down. Jorgenmo punished for it. 36 seconds left, and what is the call now? With the Armageddon and a horn into the back. This is all onto Leaf now to put a stop to it. It's got that supplementary util though. It's an ult going to be expended of his own, but Ye's caught a timing. All the way through, 25 seconds left. Where are you taking the spike in the midst of all of this? Superman, he's found one of his own.
Where's
already
the spike
taking
going?
this space
Back
up.
to B.
Ring around the roses, yet Superman full control. And a backstab from Ye. How do they do it?
Timings on timings on timings, with the clock ticking down at all times. That's absolutely remarkable. Ye gets into a weird position. Superman's lurk eventually pays off as well. And there's poor Derek with the spike, just wondering where he's going, getting pulled from site to site, trying to find a safe location. But Superman's 2 on B were perfect, and Valin in an essentially impossible situation.
Not long for the world if Derek can land that one. Indeed, he does. So, 3-3. EG proving that he can really dish it out against the gun rounds.
Things get so chaotic in the late rounds for this team, though, don't
Yeah, they do.
Sometimes you wish that they would pressure the sites just a little bit earlier so they had more wiggle room, but here, 25 seconds left on the clock. Superman essentially has to win both of those 1v1s that he catches a timing on in B. Otherwise, even if Jonah trades him, Jonah's going to be there, denying the spike from getting planted. And Ye talking about, I don't know how I got into that position, but I made it work. A stinger by now for G2. They've been deadly with these. Can they convert?
Often on the attack side of themselves, and that's the one rifle player, Jonah P. Collects his kill. Ice is going to be dropped. Didn't stop EG in the fire round, but we'll see if it helps in this one right here.
Yeah, they had a clean 5v4 in the previous round. No Icy, and just the lurkers getting the job done. And now you see G2 holding a much more aggressive control over Rubble, trying to deny Superman any entry, and that's spam for Jonah P, and it works like a charm.
Sometimes better be lucky than good. Jonah P is both.
My ult is ready.
So,
Nope.
he's got it in in spades, really, hasn't he? G2 have really aggro positions now out towards B, and they are primed and ready here. But the door opens up and a fault line towards it. It's a bit of a spray down, spam down. With guns in their hands, happy days for G2.
And I think this macro is beautiful from G2. Complete control of Rubble with 2 players. Jorgamo gets posted. Then they control the front of B, an open door in case C gets punished. I think they can use this system quite a lot to abuse EG.
Good tap from Derek, but not anticipating the position there from Valin.
So they lock down A Rubble at the start of the round. And EG are not a kind of team to be doing big reclears of A. They do it a little bit, but they're kind of hoping that by applying pressure elsewhere on the map, Superman will be able to just activate on a lure. I wasn't even spanned through smoke. Caught a glimpse of it right before the wall went up at B. And then what you saw from G2 is once they had that Rubble locked out, they were going to be able to re-clear towards the front of B with about, I don't know, 40 seconds left on the clock, something like that. So they're pretty confident it's not going to be a B hit. Open the door towards C. That's where you know EG has to be, and you're pinching them from both sides while they're focused forwards. I think they can run through that a couple of times unless Potter makes a crucial adjustment here in the timeout.
Potter timeout's usually pretty good as well. I mean, when we've done some listen-ins, we've had segments, I think, really just built around it. I think the effectiveness, Potter's usually coming in with a couple of core game plans and being able to diagnose what's going wrong for the team. Right now for EG, it seems like, okay, against other teams have been getting away with Superman with his late lurks out towards A Rubble with the heavy premium that G2 are placing on it. Having control the later those rounds go, it really does limit the options for a team like EG.
Yeah, we'll see what the adjustment is. We've already had a look at rounds where EG's lurks have been super effective. In the pistol, I think it was, maybe round 2, something like that. They double walked up with Ye and Icy towards front B. There's definitely options for EG. And it looks like they might want to put a bit more of an emphasis on controlling Rubble at the start of the round, though, of course, we see Nature with his Fade utility leaning C at the start. So probably another slow beginning for Evil Geniuses. But this slow-paced style is trying to live up to their name. They're trying to play a bit more cerebrally, but it's tough against a team like G2. Yeah, and it's going to be an A reclear. They've realized that Jorgamo is getting pushed up here with Trent's util, and they want to try to punish him.
Easier said than done sometimes, Jorgamo. Gets set up initially, but he is on a bit of an island. The Gatecrash is going to be running out soon enough here. Vulnerable. There it is. Did it out. Jorgamo is going to be trying to peace out. The salvo's out towards the door. Exit strategy tonight. 1 minute still left onto the clock. Lots of options here. G2 who react accordingly. Going to shore up the defenses over towards C with that Viper's Pit. That does leave A almost open for the taking. Potentially a B pivot.
B, Jonah P.
It's about this fight here. Superman, he's been caught off to the side as well, but barely stays alive. Straight bullets. Jonah P now is the one who has to step up to the plate. Take that challenge, take that test. Dropped at a moment's notice though, and that means the B site is open for them. Lurks on lurks. Leaf is going to be wrapping around steadily here. Does not win the fight out. Not against his adversary.
Superman's just been amazing for EG in these last few rounds.
Doubled up towards heaven. Discipline from EG. Trent's still able to get a lot of space out here. Damage done to a lot of them too. But no one from EG willing to give him an easy target. Salvos attempt to try and clear the way through into blue room, but EG are already wrapping all the way around, looking to be one step ahead of this one. Potential options here. Trent taps. Here's the footsteps, gets the kill, but time is running short now. That's the one commodity that he really needs into this spot. Yeah, he knows it. Plays the time down. 4-4.
To perfection on the clock as well there. That was right before Trent was about to get half on the spike. Superman, though, it looks phenomenal in these kind of spots. I mean, this play is lovely. What a great play that Potter cooked up coming out of the tag timeout. But Superman gets such a crucial kill there onto Jonah P and turns around and deals with Leaf. So he controls B main, and then he goes back and deals with the flank, with the lurk. Beautiful stuff. This was the map where Super put on a masterclass performance against Crew, and that was really where the tide turned and people started waking up and paying attention to EG.
Here for G2, different look at things. Operator in the hands of Jorgamo, want to try and set him up. Odin spam as well. They're pouring absolutely everything into this one here. You got to be careful, Nature. You can narrowly sidestep, but just onto that angle, not anticipating. The G2 are just going to overload them.
Ye and Icy, they got posted up early towards B main and left Ye here as an insert. So you've got to imagine that they're looking to try to pivot through Blue Room. First, they'd have to deal with Trent. There would be Odin spam as well, coming through this wall, through to the Blue Room, if they decided to pivot like this into B. And then, of course, Leaf is tucked towards B main. It looks so tough.
Smokes to obfuscate. Here in the drone now, you're going to know inclination, of course, here. EG looking to try and step their way forwards into that B hit as Leaf denies that chance. Over towards Ye now and just backs himself out and away. Jorgamo once more steps to the side. Quick dismissal, but a spam into the smoke. Hello, okay, Superman's found that one still. Ults are going to be offloaded. This is G2 not really just trying to not lose control of the round. I think they've achieved that completely. Jorgamo is just running rampant right now. 3-piece in to the round, looking for that fourth to seal it all the way up here, but nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. G2 take the lead just by one.
Jorg was styling on them. He's inside a smoke trying to no-scope somebody if they try to put pressure towards stairs. Mad decision. And then, and then he's trying to hit flick shots and spray the ground, assuming that he'd won the round. And then holding it with one bullet in the operator. He was feeling himself with the off in this round. He hit a nasty shot on Nature, a gorgeous shot on Derek. Repositioned, by the way, with the help of a paranoia from C. So they had breach util coming.
I moved backwards, and as soon as I moved backwards, he peaked, so I just can't shoot.
It's just...
They had breach util coming from Tree. They had a paranoia coming from C. So much cross-map pressure to apply onto EG, who are now knocked down onto an eco.
Still up against this operator in the hands of Jorgamo. No catching him. Back out and away here, but a tempo increase by EG is called for. No slowing down. Access to the A side is given up freely here. G2 have a lot of confidence in their ability. Try and play retake here.
But they are going to be playing retake with an op. And an Odin. Could be slightly challenging.
Derek, and he spots it, he hears it. That pressure coming from the side. He's only got that ghost in the hands! No way whatsoever. And now he's going to be the thorn in their side. G2, did they get a move on? They got to worry about their backs the entire time this is occurring. Trent is forwards as well! Should have been an easy kill, but he's left just wondering, laying in wait, what the hell is happening? And what has gone wrong so far? G2 from bodies at the wall, seeing if they can try and salvage this entire operation. It's an ult, not dead yet, Valen from the side, and Jonah P to put the squeeze down onto Ye, leaves it just down to Derek. He was the one to try and make it happen.
Time, they got it.
Yeah, narrow margins.
Super close, less than a second by the look of things. Oh. But they're gonna be able to get the job done. That is so similar to the round that we saw earlier when EG were on an eco. EG take the site, and G2, they're trying to play it slow, trying to play it controlled, but there is chaos.
Yeah.
And credit to them, they've won both of those situations, but dude, Derek just fried Leaf at Blue Room. Do we really need to see this again? Oh. Trent, I mean, my pick for like the best player of 2025, and you're doing him dirty like that.
Yeah. There's a grimace from the coach in C2.
6-4. EG, they're putting pressure on, but remember, they won the pistol. So since then, have only won 2 rounds. It's not actually good in the scoreboard department, and it's not getting any better.
Wading out into the one-way. Jorgamo, he's getting so active.
And this slow-paced style of EG, the slightly more contacty approach with the heavy lurk style, it just runs into the operator.
That's the problem for them here. Leaf is tucked to the corner, a bit out into the open. Is Icy offloading with the ult up from the side. That's Nature, his savior. Still, big wraparound now. G2, that's 3 players. That's going to be called out by Superman. And what is the reaction now from EG? Push into CT, try and dominate some control, flip the map in some way or form. Maybe there's a chance for them, despite that player disadvantage. But
what a stun.
It's picture perfect. And G2 subvert expectations to wrap around again. EG thought they could get access towards it. Armageddon now lay it down, and this is Nature with no chance whatsoever.
A beautiful round from G2. They push fully out through A, dominate the player that's in the lurk kind of position, Superman, who was tucked towards front B. And then that stun for Leaf, who was alone over towards CT, they knew would be under pressure. What a read this is. They know exactly what the adaptation is going to be from their opponent. before it even comes through. That's the kind of G2 you're expecting to see on this stage. And a reminder that it hasn't been clean recently.
No.
They lost to Sentinels. A nail-biter, edge of your seat, ridiculous overtime against 100 Thieves. G2 could have been out very reasonably already from these playoffs. But they persevered, and they've had an opportunity to stamp authority on this. And actually, in both of those series, they kind of wiped the floor on the first map. They looked utterly dominant first map. And then their opponents started coming back into it. Can EG close out the half strong?
That is the G2 effect. Listen, brings the best out of people. 120. Just like that.
The leg shot.
Yeah, Superman not to be denied, not to be dropped. That snap as well to Jorgmo is something else entirely. Derek wants to try and contain this space. Holding a bit of his U2, and that's back to the walls. That's just the timing that's missed out, and Yay, he picks it perfectly. Rolling Thunder forwards, Armageddon on top of it. This is Carnage, and Jonah B! My God! Heavy weapons guy cosplay occurring right from behind. That's a bullet to the brain. And the final round of this half. EG barely carved out a path here over towards the A side with a pit down. There is chances.
Planted.
Anything can happen in these kind of rounds. Nature trying to make his way forwards. Do they have utility really to clear out Superman? Superman taking decay damage, but he's already so weak.
So damn low, and you're up against Odin spam. It's going to be raining down onto you.
Do they have the comms of the damage that they've already done? I would assume so.
Yeah, Jorg knows he liked him. Paranoia is good. Nature has to be the one to try and hold this one down here. The Tracers point out the position of Jonah P, and now look to stand up against this one. It's relentless. No mercy whatsoever. Shorty in hand, you get the one, but how do you get the rest? You just cannot. Time to spare 4 at G2. Wrap up this first half of Lotus, 8-4.
And again, remember, EG won the pistol. So after that pistol and follow-up, it's basically been perfection from G2. A statement opener to Lotus, a map that EG picked. But G2, it's probably their best map as well, if we're being honest. This is a tough one for EG to take, and it's going to get even more difficult, I would argue, with them on the defense side.
Oh.
Huh, nature sure is full of wonders. Red Bull gives you wings.
The new Red Bull Zero is here. 100% wings with monk fruit extract.
Now, only one of these teams can make it to Masters Toronto, of course, and tickets are on sale right now. And you can scan that QR code to secure your spot at one of the biggest global events of the year. Watch it in Toronto, Canada, and yeah.
You've sold me. I'm buying 8 of them right now. I'm scanning those tickets. I mean, on one side of things, you could get to see Yay playing against Crazy Guy for the Bleed Beef match. On the other side of things, you might get to see G2 defend their opportunity to go back to the Grand Final. So, yeah, take a look. See if you can book your tickets. But I don't know who's going to make it here. That's what makes this match so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because everybody would have been predicting G2.
And G2 have got a very hot start to the beginning of this series. 8-4. EG's map pick, of course, like opting to bring G2 to Lotus, which, listen, G2 have been no slouches at the entire year. It's a brave choice. It's a bold choice. They've clearly come prepared. There's tension, I think, in the posture and the shoulders of some of those EG players, maybe realizing, wait a second, G2 might just be in a different league entirely, and starting to open up here. EG have got something cooked and up their sleeves to get an early advantage potentially there, but okay, it's spotted out. Valen's going to be seeing it. Early pressure out towards B.
I'm not sure if they were expecting a single lurk player there or whether they thought it was going to be a B pistol from G2. But either way, EG didn't find too much. And now because the door opened on A, they were reading that it was an A hit. You saw the rotation from EG starting to lean over there. And then when the drone came out from Trent, they're like, hold on, we don't know where it's going right now. So you see EG's defense kind of scattered currently, lacking info.
Incredibly passive. Draw a line all the way back. I mean, it's further back than where the barrier started for a lot of these players.
It really is. And there's not been much utility expended here on either side. The drone, though, is gone from Derek, or in fact,
he didn't even buy it.
He never bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't really have a way of gaining info beyond Icy just kind of jiggle peeking this. Could get punished.
Those unknowns definitely could get punished. 35 seconds left. G2 trying to give EG a taste of their own medicine.
30 seconds left.
No util really expended, as we've already mentioned as well. And still, okay, Icy. Shots lay it down as soon as that orb is going straight up. And it puts EG into a pretty nice spot. 5v4 now to try and play this one into the retake, looking to potentially flood in and waiting for the right cue.
Trent versus Ye over towards Blue Room.
And they're going for a walk of their own. Is it going to be anticipated? The timing is missed! And what a mistake to make there. Just missed it narrowly. Nature does his best to try and reclaim some space off to it, but Trent trying to deny it, and damage is done to it. Jonah P, he's alone, he's isolated! And EG put the squeeze on him. It's another pistol round they're going to be able to lay claim to.
Nature just spanked him with the pistol. He just got 2 super important kills denying that push. Because you're so right, EG did not have that timing. Ah, look at that. That's how Leaf falls at the beginning from Icy. I thought it was through a smoke. But here's that other push, completely caught Derek and Icy off guard.
I thought that was it.
Nature turns around and deals a death blow back to G2. See what it means to him.
Yeah. Get that fire back a little bit.
And here comes G2 on the force. They've been doing this quite a lot since the beginning of Bangkok. When they force in situations like this, they have a 75% win rate. That's absolutely ludicrous. They have worse weaponry than their opponents, but they're winning 3/4 of the time.
Trying to control the pace on the attack side here, and lying in wait! Yeah, Superman. Jump spot just missing that one onto the timing, and Jorgamo happy to clean him up. Take him out of the picture now. It's open access to that C site. And how do you bounce back if you're EG? Difficult indeed. An abundance of util as well, pushing them all the way back and away. That's a paranoia. Delaying this attempt and take. EG are trying to get themselves into this one. Outlaw in hand, not the weapon of choice for Icy. But he's got to make 2 stuns. Ricocheting, rebounding here. Picking them apart in the seams. This is just G2 at their best. Add another one to the tally, Josh.
It's not quite flawless, but it looks like it. That's amazing. How do they win these rounds so cleanly? They just have such great ideas, and they get themselves into positions where the Stinger looks unbeatable. The Americas Stinger is OP. What's ridiculous, though, too, is G2, they're winning, I mean, now more than 75%, like 77% or whatever after this round, but they're still only forcing 1/3 of the time when they lose pistol. Do it more often, man.
Yeah.
Do it more often. It's outrageous how often they're winning when they actually opt into that. But they normally wait until they're on the attack side and they get the plant down.
And it's the wind taken out of the sails of these EG players. Thought you were going to get a bit of respite, but not quite. And they hear that. All being taken. That's a full line. That's a salvo.
Ooh, they're lucky to escape.
Yeah, well, only just the
No,
one.
they're not.
Yeah, Icy's going to be dropped. Risk to be taken here for these EG players. Yeah, you're hoping to get lucky. So they're going to be spotted going walkabouts.
And what's wild about this force buy strategy too is because it delays the rifle round by 1 round, you get close to those ults that you can use to snowball the attack side. And it's Trent actually who I'm looking at, but he gets absolutely nailed.
And Superman, he's under the pressure right now, but he's really taking control of the map and potentially this round entirely. Jump spot with a right click. I just want to say unlucky to not get the kill there.
Look at that lurk at north side as well.
Leave has to contain this one. He needs to do it cleanly.
Oh, it's mucky.
And it's a rough spot indeed, but still that fault line from afar. Long range. Util stunned up. Matters not. Yay. He's fully healed up, but only for a moment. It's going to be fading before you know it. And he almost anticipates it. Here's it. 1v1. Yay! Rolls back the years.
2022 Yay is here to dominate again. That's outrageous.
No way.
No glimmer of a reaction. A small wipe of sweat off the brow. Superman did a great job of picking up 2 earlier on though, but what is that? With the stun, then a body shot to finish off a weak Jonah P, and a beautiful headshot to take down Jorg.
Oh my god, the way I just died!
That's what you're going to say about that?
There's no way that's your reaction at the end of that round. And so all of the good side of the force buy from G2 thrown in the opposite direction, but their economy is actually good enough to basically buy up.
Balanced out. So Jorgamo, dimensional drift forwards here. Gate crash to clear. Pave away potentially to this C side. EG know this. They've already evacuated.
Something I dislike about EG on this map, they're normally very slow to retake on C. They don't throw plant denial util, and they don't fast retake. Are they going to change things up? I mean, Superman just goes for it.
I mean, I think that was an attempt off with the back of some of that util. Leaf's going to be caught though, just trying to take that timing on that flank still. 4v4, Plant only just going down by the way here, and they're really looking to tango. Takes 2 of them though, Nature opts in and already removed it. Still Armageddon, forwards Trent. Stands tall and proud, trying to maintain control out towards the side, a bit of stray. Spam does the work and gets the number of Valin. And now Trent left into the 1v2. He's been fantastic. But can he persevere? Stray shots flying towards him. He's to land it, but with movement like that. Slippery as anything, these EG players. Not willing to go down lightly.
And so much faster than I've seen from EG on the C retakes. Superman's in, I mean, way early, ridiculously early. But the rest of the team is brawling, scrapping, fighting for space. Jorgamo forced to take that fight because Derek ulted.
Nice!
And there's Teobalt on the other side causing chaos as well. Much less controlled, I think, from both teams. Both opting into a little bit of the carnage there. But it's EG that comes out on top. And I didn't think I'd be saying that in this match.
It's 9-7.
G2 come in, honestly, as heavy favorites in this game. But you could have said that about their match against 100 Thieves most recently. And that one went 3 maps, OT towards the end. And now here again, EG picked Lotus. It's an uphill battle picking Lotus into G2. It's always going to be, no matter how good you are on this map. But here, EG are keeping it within 2, and they've knocked G2 down onto an eco. So in all likelihood, this is going to be a game where there's only 1 round separating these 2 teams. At the beginning of playoffs, it looked like an ocean was separating these 2 teams.
Yeah, we were having talks about, oh, well, is the playoffs going to be a bit boring for G2? Are they just going to be sealing it up all the way through the upper? Got excitement, man. We got excitement, not a chance at all. One of the things that was rattling around my brain before we even got into this series was wondering, are EG going to keep evolving as a team? Seems like every single match they've gone through in that lower bracket, they haven't really been the favorites, but they've stood up to the challenge. They've done well. And they've developed even more as a team. They're finding their style, finding their footing.
I think you can see that evidence of that in this game too. Just in the terms of the way that they were brawling on that C retake, for example, actually. The ultimates are enormous for EG here. But the idea is to not have to use them in this round. You want to save them, if possible, for round 18, when it has the chance of breaking G2's economy again. Leaf has a rifle.
And he could be the danger player there. Definitely opportunities.
Poison orb emitted.
G2 just trying to play that long con, thinking about win cons later on into the rounds, try and build up, get closer to the ultimates. A Rubble re-clear. Superman just dominates control of Rubble, and that's going to mean a lot for them, to be honest. Leaf's going to be dropped. That was a rifle player.
And now they can start rotating people over towards B and A, because they don't have to be worried about C at all. Where are they going? They're going back with the spike over towards C, hoping that there's a bit of a gap over here.
Superman.
40 seconds. I mean, this isn't a fake.
He hears the footsteps, the rumble of it here with 30 seconds left. That's a drone to the side, and Sidus of off angles, almost not anticipated. Trent can't quite take that one. There's backup arriving. That's Derek over the shoulder. Stray shots and bullets. You got to choose a different direction, but I think this might be hurt potentially. Depends how quiet Valen has been. No, it was called for. Just a slight speed up, I think.
Jorg really wants this rifle.
He gets it.
But there's only 10 seconds left. Yeah, he can shut all of this down so easily.
Trent, yeah, it's just got to be haphazard with it.
But it was an eco for G2. Is Jorg going to try to save after he put all of that effort into getting the Vandal back online? Yeah, pretty much. He's been hunted from behind, but might be able to hold on.
Yeah, just trying to sidestep most of the bullets. Can't quite hold on to it. But you are right, Josh. It was an eco.
The thing is, though, look at the ultimates that are available to EG. It's almost everything. They have Ray's ultimate if Icy's side gets pressured. They got Fade ult for retake. Ye is able to have 2 lives in this round, and Superman at any point can try to reactively pop his ult over towards C and ensure that that area of the map is locked down, or at least much more challenging.
EG staring straight down the gut of the map here. Is this an aggro play coming from them nice and early? Reminiscent of the pistol. Walk up, tripled up, making sure that they can try and get a kill or 2. Still off to the side, it's Jorgman with a trade, but he's going to be mopped up regardless.
Leaf got really caught off by that. He wasn't just jump spotting. He went to actually try to hold the angle and contest. Not expecting EG to be doing something aggressive in the first 10 seconds. I think this is an EG that's really trying to shift their game up a little bit just to throw G2 off their rhythm.
That's what I was talking about earlier, man, that evolution of EG that we're witnessing. Because it's been slow going ever since that crew game in stage 1. But they've been adding twists and turns. Unexpected moments. This is a narrow angle indeed. And what a peek by Valen. Just crouches straight into it, almost anticipating it. Brings it 3 versus 3. Plank going down, anything to push this one back. Looks like the salvos are good for it, Derek. Onto the high ground, but he's going to be meeting his match here with a lot of util. Slows them down to a crawl, but just delay with the util. So another kill claimed. Spike finally planted, G2. Feels like they've been permanently on the back foot in this round here, but finally with an advantage, at least with the players, yay. We'll look to even the odds. Waiting for a bit of pressure now from Superman. Opens up the door wide, but it's a triple face again. That's an ult popped off, not dead yet. Not really anticipated, still without plenty of util. That's a snake bite wide to face. Kill needs to be claimed here, round and away, yay! Has brought it to a winnable spot. Smoke in the back pocket, not anticipating it. Valen with the reposition up towards the high ground. Ye stamps time. He's got it. Circle barely shrinking, and Ye just bringing it back from the brink.
He goes in a 1v3, gets sent to hell and bounces back. Not dead, but for a moment, and springs out, hitting ungodly shots. Resurrected and comes back to snap up onto Valen. He had no idea that he teleported onto the high ground. And Potter, gobsmacked, cannot believe what her players are capable of in playoffs. Cold. So cold. A small smile and a wave to the crowd, and that's it. He's drawn EG level with G2. And G2 down onto another eco round. EG are now in control of this game. It's unbelievable what they've done.
Pretty clear towards Rubble here for G2, but again, you already mentioned it, the weaponry less than ideal. Ye once more gets his time to shine or not. Trent puts himself in the spotlight with that one. That's going to be Ye dropped down, and this is fast indeed, but out wide into the open Leaf, not expecting this one. It's rapid from EG, still they are blinded up. Valen is eager to try and take that fight forward. Still, that's a showstopper. It's going to be rattled off and away, and they don't hear a thing. All noise cues cut away. That's a plan committed. Jonah P has to ISO these fights, has to do it now. Stinger in hand, just not possible. Leaves it down to 2. With that rifle reclaimed, Jogo might be able to do it. Trent forwards, damage done, he just needed to land it. Pointed out now, but this is it, the net is closing in. Jorgamo can't quite do it.
The big moments here are coming from evil geniuses. We saw Ye's performance in the previous round. Nature hits that crucial stun shot there to deny what could have been a comeback in this round from G2. And look at the string of rounds that the defenders have put together here. 5 in a row. And they forced a timeout from Josh RT.
Has to be hit.
That stun is so good that Trent is throwing. Completely pins somebody in the corner.
Let's go.
And Nature still manages to hit the shot. Take a breather at this tag timeout. It's not quite fit the pattern of G2's game so far.
It really hasn't, nor EG's.
No.
I mean, we were expecting a slow siege, a bit of a, you know, burning at a midnight oil type beat. It hasn't been the case.
And G2 normally, in these last 2 matches, they have crushed map 1. Whether it's to do with their preparation or their form, just starting strong, they've dominated. And it's looked like, oh, this is amazing G2. And then, okay, they let it slip a little bit, map 2 or map 3, and things get closer. This, pretty much for the first 8 rounds, and then everything after the halftime, has been dead even. And EG applying the pressure, foot on the gas.
Yeah.
G2 clawing just to stay in this in the final few rounds.
Head above water with everything to play for, of course. Final spot for our Americas teams going to Toronto is defined and decided by this match. G2, they have this habit of bringing the best out of their opponents. EG as well. Here to play, hoping to stay. And ahead in our opening map, just by the 1 round for now.
Cutting through.
Who's next?
Gay crash forwards alongside Adult. Looking for the information here. Spots out the 2. And I know that EG are just playing this one off. How is Valen going down there?
Oh, that's brutal.
The fight to be taken as the door open wide. EG! Yay! He's doing it again to a man. And he's out wide into the open as an Armageddon force. Oh, back to the side. That's Jorgamo looking to see if he can pick up these pieces, make anything of the round whatsoever in the chaos, in the carnage. EG thrive!
Dominated Leaf on the lurk. Got into aggressive positions. Valen, I think, must have been inside of his smoke. So he couldn't really tell that he was stood on top of a salvo or something? I don't know, I'd love to see a replay of how he died in this situation. There's salvos, and yet, oh no. He just takes a bit of decay damage and ends up going down. I don't think he even realizes that the salvos are inside the Viper Orb there. And they've knocked G2 onto another eco. This is ridiculous, the form that we're seeing from EG. The moment's going in their direction, and a massive brawl over. Immediately goes their way. Icy picks up 2 on the spray angle. You're not coming back from this one.
Revenge on the mind and redemption for a lot of these EG players. That's what they're playing for. Nade rebounds. Quick getaway from Jorgamo here, but you're already 2 players down, and this is an EG with all the confidence in the world. All the confidence in the world. Surrounding and laying claim to these lives. They won this opening map.
Flawless. And 3 opportunities to close out on Lotus. On what I think a lot of people would be pointing to as G2's best map. They've got a deep map pool, G2. They've got other maps that are great for them. Split and Pearl, they're super fine on those maps too. Don't count G2 out. But if EG are capable of doing it here on Lotus, they might be capable of doing it on a bunch of different ones too. And the run that they've made on this defense is honestly like nothing I've seen against G2. I've never seen a team put G2 in their place like this on this map.
No strangers to the storyline of EG. Scraping by, potentially 2023. You remember they barely made it into Toronto. Or into Tokyo, I should say. Finding that peak form. Striking wide, the iron is hot, and looks like there was an attempt at potential risk to be taken here. Fights, swinging wide, EG.
With the Haunt, though, there was cross-map support from Nature. And now Valen goes through the reclear. That's so risky on his own. hoping that EG had just backed off, but he gets the information as the IGL, and now they pivot into A. But this is where Icy and Nature are waiting.
This could be it. Getting more than dangerous here. There's an Armageddon pushing back towards it. Icy, slightest of gaps to play in here. Open access now to the A side, just barely. EG closing in as a Viper's Pit. One of the lines of defense that G2 are going to be layering down at it to get into the post plant. One way up top is going to mean it's even more difficult. An abundance of Utah flying forwards here. It's gone pound for pound now, and Valen has got more in the back pocket, but you've got to try and win these fights out. EG! They're starting to move forwards. It's a relentless march here, and they can taste it. The finish line in sight, but maybe a little bit overzealous in the process. Still, Leaf down, Pit drop down. Trent, it's going to be all on him. Swing wide from Jorgen. Mo, not dead yet. And Trent, they have to do it all. 1v1. Nature sticking. Half earned. 6 bullets left. Trent down to the wire.
Is there time though?
Time! Goal!
With 0.3 seconds on the clock, EG take map 1 and deliver a statement opening blow to G2. It looked at the halftime like G2 were the better team here, and then EG's run on defense was crazy. Ye ends with 300 ACS and 25 kills, bringing back memories of 2022 when Valen's record against Ye was 1-2, a negative record against that Optic squad, despite beating them in a North American Grand Final. What the hell have we just watched?
An incredible